Where did you come from?
1975. How do I look?
According to IMDb, which is of course the most 100% trustworthy source of information, there was once a stock taken of which Charmed cast member received the most fan mail. It actually wasn't one of the lead actresses, but Finola Hughes, who played the small but significant role of Patty, the Charmed One's mother.
Who are you people?
Your daughters.
Now, obviously, this probably has more to do with her fame from various soap operas, but it is food for thought.
Mom, what? This is not the time for personal gain. You're right.
Unlike her mother, the cantankerous and acid-tongued occasional word YouTube won't let me say Penny, who has a generous heaping of detractors for unknown reasons.
Men are utensils. You use them, wash them, and throw them in a drawer until you need them again.
Patty is a beloved character, and her appearances across the series were always something for me to look forward to. So why do we love this character? Patty, full name Patricia Halliwell, is the mother of the Charmed Ones, and has been dead for 2 decades when the show first begins. Since it's a show about magic, she gets to feature quite regularly as a posthumous character, through time travel, flashbacks, and as a ghost. Sometimes 2 at a time.
When their destiny's revealed, they'll come together.
Her actress Finola Hughes already had a prolific career, debuting alongside John Travolta in the 1983 movie Staying Alive, and originating the role of Victoria in the West End production of Cats. And she enjoys plenty of fame for her work in the soap operas General Hospital and All My Children. She was offered the role of Patty without an audition, and initially wary of being asked to play the mother of 3 women in their mid-20s, accepted in the end, and would make an appearance in every Charmed season except the 6th, although she was meant to feature in the episode Witchstock.
Where's Patty?
I dropped her off with my sister. She's gonna crash there tonight.
We first meet her in That 70s episode, in which the sisters travel back in time to 1975 when she's still pregnant with Phoebe, allowing them the chance to get to know her as adults.
You're all so beautiful. More than I ever would have imagined.
She returns many times across the series, usually as a spirit guide to offer advice or comfort.
I know why you've been afraid.
And that's actually point number 1 as to why we love Patty. In contrast to the girls' cantankerous grandmother Penny and their deadbeat father Victor, Patty is consistently shown as a warm, caring presence.
If you don't like the name, I can always change it.
No, I love it.
From her very first appearance, the viewer falls in love with her straight away, and we see that she was always a very loving mother. Penny obviously had to do a lot of the heavy lifting and disciplining, what with Patty dying early on, but whenever we meet Patty, she is there to show her daughters plenty of love and reassurance.
I always thought you'd be the first to get married. You're the heart of this family, Piper.
The show is in no way interested in using the complicated relationship with the mother trope as a source of easy conflict, and Patty is never there to stir up conflict, or be anything but a wise mentor and warm shoulder to cry on, albeit a transparent one. Patty is the dream mother in a lot of ways, always knowing the right thing to say, providing support whenever it's needed, showering her daughters with love, and she's also not just a satellite character there to prop up another one, always feeling like her own person who just happens to be very caring and empathic, with her own feelings and viewpoints, which is quite impressive for a character who's see-through for 50% of her screen time.
Who are we to decide that they're meant to be witches?
Who are we to decide that they're not?
This is a delicate balance that reminds me a lot of Myrna Loy, a star in the golden age of Hollywood who is nicknamed the perfect wife for her ability to work in tandem with whoever her leading man was and come across as an equal rather than mere support.
My dog. And my wife.
Well, you might have mentioned me first on the billing.
Through the course of That 70s episode, we immediately feel like we know Patty and come to love her almost right away, which serves to put us, the viewers, in the perspectives of the 3 main characters and understand the loss they first felt when she died in their childhood, and the loss they feel again when they have to return to their own time and say goodbye to her.
Bye, Phoebe.
I'm gonna miss you.
There is a beauty to every tragedy, and that's what this is here. The story is enhanced by how kind and caring Patty is, and thus we feel the tragedy of her death, even when it happened decades ago in the story's timeline.
You're lucky you have a lot more memories than I do. Well, at least you have some. And poor Phoebe, she doesn't have any.
And although a very idealized person, she's not one-dimensional. It's a common trope, especially in fantasy fiction, for the long-dead mother figure to be completely romanticized.
She was also an uncommonly kind woman.
TV tropes luridly calls this deceased parents are the best. The lost mother as purity incarnate, a living saint who was too good for this sinful earth and joined other angels in heaven where she would of course be more at home. I loved Harry Potter as much as the next person, but even as a kid I found myself going, wow, Lily Evans was a goody two-shoes, wasn't she?
She had a way of seeing the beauty in others, even and perhaps most especially when that person could not see it in themselves.
And obviously this trope is usually informed by a character nostalgically looking back on their mother and imagining her as a flawless person who could do no wrong. But with Patty, the show doesn't shy away from her flaws.
I had to give him immunity to your powers in exchange for your lives.
She has to give a warlock immunity to the charmed powers in exchange for her own life, which puts her daughters in danger until the timeline is changed.
I'd rather love you as mortal daughters than have to mourn you as dead witches.
There's also her turbulent on-off relationship with her husband Victor, which, thanks to some questionable continuity, seems as though they went through a bit of a cycle of splitting up and getting back together, and that Patty didn't reveal her witch heritage until sometime after Prue was born. The two also clashed over how to raise their daughters, with Victor wanting them to have a normal life, and Patty and Penny wanting to raise them as witches, with the show validating both sides.
You said that you left because Grams wanted us to use our powers and you didn't.
That's the truth, but now you know the whole story.
And then comes the big revelation in Season 3's P3H2O. Patty was having an affair with her white lighter Sam, which proved to be the nail in the coffin for her marriage.
You dumped me for your white lighter.
Oh, Sam?
Sam, Paige's father.
And this sort of thing wasn't just taboo, as Penny puts it.
It was unthinkable for witches to be with white lighters. I mean, let alone have children with them.
So even the idealized mother was capable of having feelings she couldn't control and making choices that weren't in her children's best interests. And come the Season 4 revelation that this affair actually resulted in a baby, we learn that Patty ultimately decided to give this fourth daughter up for adoption and keep her existence a secret. And she had very understandable reasons for doing so.
Afraid that you girls would be denied your powers, your birthright.
Excellent subtle work by Finola Hughes here, where you can hear the heartbreak in her voice.
We wanted to keep the baby.
And she makes it clear that giving up her fourth daughter still hurt, even if it was the best option she had.
That's why we decided to give the baby up.
And these revelations aren't used to show her as a bad person, but they definitely humanize her, and make her feel more like a realistic person who made mistakes and had to make difficult decisions that she couldn't fully justify as being completely in the right. And that makes her seem like a fully formed individual rather than an ideal.
We missed a lot. Not being able to raise them together.
Most viewers will either knowingly or subconsciously reject a character who feels too perfect or even too flawed, but we're drawn to those who are more nuanced or complicated, and that's what makes Patty so appealing, as well as other things. One of the reasons I eternally think Charmed holds up very well in terms of gender representation is in how it plays around with familiar tropes and subverts them in areas that are still unusual even today.
And you all came from me.
Well, yes.
The long-deceased mother is normally in a support role, with emphasis only on how kind, loving, and pure she was. Sure, she's often in some kind of resistance or rebellion, but her involvement sometimes gets downplayed, so as not to detract from her purity. And then there's that other variant of the strong, sassy matriarch who don't take no ish, and is a wee bit masculinized. But as we love to say on the internet, why not both? Patty is the saintly, long-deceased mother, but she was also a powerful witch.
You speak for yourself.
While Penny is the one who carries the reputation as a fearsome demon hunter, Patty's no slouch in the magic department either.
If we can teach the girls the chant, maybe the three of us can get you back to your time.
When the spell to send the future Charmed ones back to their time doesn't work, it's Patty who gets the idea to use the girls' child selves in the spell, substituting herself to use the power of 3 thanks to unborn Phoebe already having premonition powers.
Little Prue and Piper have their powers, and Phoebe gave me a premonition, so she must have hers.
When a spell of pennies backfires and makes the adult charmed ones regress to the minds of children, Patty is able to undo it with her own ingenuity where her mother could not.
Your mother took the reversal spell.
That's okay, I got one of my own. Okay, girl.
In the grand finale, when learning that 2 of her daughters die in the future, she comes up with a plan to recreate the power of 3, using 3 generations of their family's magic to eventually banish the Hollow for good.
If I'm the mother of the charmed ones, and we could find the grandmother, then maybe we'd be able to recreate the power of 3.
And even her death was brought about by her believing herself strong enough to vanquish a water demon single-handedly. She is never one to sit on the sidelines and not offer help when she has the chance to, especially in the final episode.
You can't come barging in here from the future and tell me that 2 of my girls are dead without expecting me to help.
Patty gets to be both strong and powerful, as well as quite traditionally feminine, showing that one isn't mutually exclusive to the other. And there's also the final fact that many of the moments Patty appears in are among the most heartwarming. Charmed always had the gift of serving up equal amounts of tearjerkers, funny moments, and even jump scares, and I'm actually amazed at the amount of times it manages to be genuinely sweet without feeling overly sappy or manufactured. And the appearance of Patty often signals that something moving is on the way.
Say hi for me.
There are the small moments, like appearing as a spirit to welcome Sam into the afterlife, or materializing before Piper to give her a mother's guidance as she faces the reality of bringing a baby of her own into her unpredictable lifestyle.
Take my hand, sweet.
But then there are much grander moments, such as the elders sending her down to attend Piper's wedding.
I had a premonition the day you were born.
You did? What did you see?
Oh, I saw this.
Which demonstrates that the wise, rule-abiding powers that be most definitely do have hearts.
My 3 daughters standing before me as beautiful young women, and I knew that everything would be okay.
And then there's my personal favourite Patty moment across the entire series,
There's someone here we thought you should meet.
where a young woman who's been searching for her birth family for years has found 2 sisters at long last, but then also gets the chance that would be impossible in any other show to finally meet the mother who was forced by circumstance to give her up and died before she even knew about her. And the mother herself gets to see her daughter as a grown woman, ready to embrace her destiny.
Paige.
There's no forced soap opera drama or conflict that a lesser writer might try to shoehorn in to make it more real. There aren't even any big speeches, because that isn't really Patty's style. She just says exactly what she needs to, and Paige just gets to be held.
Welcome home.
And the use of Patty in these moments throughout the series, well, I'm not going to say something cheesy like, she feels like she's our mother too, or she's really holding all of us, but maybe I am. Maybe just a little.